You would personally think when the white flags for a Borrelsword reprint would go up that everybody and their mother will be talking about this, but nobody has talked about this besides one person. What is going on here? So, we have new structure deck information, and it is structure deck Revolver. And, of course, the biggest meme for this structure deck is Revolver just pockets Monster Reborn. Like, you guys can see my breast pocket here. This man just goes, haha, Monster Reborn. Just pulls it out of nowhere every single time. So, if you guys haven't watched the anime, spoilers inbound here, he does use Borrelsword Dragon, Borrel Dragon, and Borrel Dragon. Now, this is slated for OCG release on June 22nd. So, a couple of interesting things here. One, this is going to come with an enhancement pack like the Soul Burner structure deck. And I'm going to look at Soul Burner as we're getting into this a little bit here and kind of talk about the magnitude that this deck is going to bring to the table. Also, he does use a lot of the dragon stuff in the anime. You know, he's the reason why we have auto rockets. Actually, rockets in general. Things that you can expect from this deck. Of course, Mirror Force, the meme, is going to be here. Rocket support. Now, if they do anything like they did with Soul Burner, and they just give this deck enough support to push it through the door, you are about to see tier 1 rockets running around. And I think that's going to be the most exciting thing coming out of this deck. Like, in general, besides possibly good reprints, is rockets have the potential to be tier 1. Let me say that for the third time. Tier 1 rockets. All right, I had to get that out of my system. I'm just excited the fact that rockets are going to have a chance to stare at the face of the format. Now, something important here. This comes out June 22nd, 2019 in the OCG. Now, of course, move that release back 2 to 3 months in the TCG. We could be seeing that in September, October. Now, interesting debate here for this. Megatins are coming out in October or August into September. Borrelsword will be up for a reprint at that time. Does that mean that we could see dual Borrelsword reprints? Does it mean that they'll drop it in the set as a secret rare? The card is already spiked so hard in the current format that players are... You're paying for that win condition. We want to try to get that out to everybody. So, if you reprint it in the Megatins and force people to get it, and then you kind of come on over to the structure deck over here, do you drop it in here again? Because you have to remember, the Borrel archetype with rockets, Borrel's just kind of the super tier boss monsters that they could produce. And I could see a new Borrel monster being released in the structure deck instead of Borrelsword, Borrel, Borrel. But if you want the rocket archetype to get that effective boost that it needs with this, you do have to give them the missing pieces of the puzzle. Now, you do need something that sells this structure deck. Let's call it what it is here. Mirror Force ain't gonna do it. Alright, I understand that this man, Mirror Force, is like it's his job against Goki in the anime. Okay, that's fine. But could we see a Borrel Dragon that could set Mirror Force? I don't know. I think it's just kind of a meme at this point. Because Borrel Savage Dragon is a fantastic card as well. Like, I could see them reprinting Borrel Savage Dragon to push the Synchro archetype, kind of like they did with Mirage Stalio for the archetype. But they did... Stalio was a new card. Borrel Savage Dragon is a core set thing. So I'm kind of thinking whatever comes out of this structure deck is going to be an entirely new medium for this. And also, we get the chance for alternate arts, baby. We already have the Borrel... we have the Borrel... load alternate art. I could see them dropping in here. I would love to see a Borrelsword alternate printing, but I also don't know how important Borrelsword is to him in the anime, because right now, like, Borrel Savage was kind of the last big boss monster that he had, and I think we only really saw Borrelsword, Borrel when he did the stupid U-Link on our main MC, which, I mean, call it what it was. It was nothing particularly great, but the hope, much like the Soul Burner structure deck, for that alternate art of something, it's not going to be Mirror Force. No, not like the meme says. But for the most part, there is hope for some sort of alternate art. It's probably going to be the stupid Link 3 that he plays that makes the archetype better. Because you have to remember, this structure deck does double up on Dragon support. And the fact that we know how much the internet loves dragon support, Konami loves dragon support. We literally are printing more new broken dragons as time goes on. A guard dragon support, fucking insane for the game. Alright, guys? Like, you all know this, I know this, and we know that these cards are literally power creeping the game as they're going. So, we could see some very good generic dragon support massed in this structure deck to just kind of push things a little bit further across the table. Because, like I said, when he's playing the rocket archetype, a good chunk of them are dragon. Of course, you can probably see things like Squib Draw, Quick Launch being in here as well, because those are some of the best cards the Rockets have going for them. And, of course, the 95% of the bad cards to kind of push across the archetype as well. So, a lot of speculation here from me, but just know that, like, I'm excited for the overall potential that we can see from this to kind of push this archetype. Because one thing that I think that this deck has the biggest issue with is it's just a good rocket support in general. They have that high tribute rocket that gets the ability to bring out rockets, but the problems with rockets themselves is they're all end phase-esque effects. Alright? The fact that literally they all float in the end phase, I understand that you were trying to make the archetype balanced, but you need to have something that imbalances that archetype, because had you given them the right way, they would have been Yang Zing 2.0, and I understand that would have been broken. But if you want this deck to sell, you're going to have to maybe give them a spell card that allows rocket effects to trigger as soon as they're destroyed instead of waiting to the end phase. I think that that could potentially be a means to kind of make things a little bit more interesting, because you have to hard draw that spell card in order to trigger, or you can make it a new field spell, literally like some sort of mass production-esque field spell would probably put the deck in a little bit better of a position. Now, I did want to compare this deck to the Soulburner structure deck over on TCG Player, just for all intents and purposes. So, obviously, we have the one thing that sold the structure deck. Literally, Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring, the hand trap. You drop Borrelsword in here, you're probably going to see the same thing. Now, up until this point, Salamangreat Circle was one of the better cards that this deck got. Give them a Searcher and a special summon from the deck. Like, we all know how great a Hero Lives is as a card, and if you give them something like Salamangreat Circle for a search and a quick play to also double down with the archetype, oh my god, imagine if they give it trigger your end phase search effect before the end phase, like, or as soon as a card is destroyed. That would be great. Now, archetype level support like Spinny would be great, because you need to have ways to climb these link ladders, reviving stuff. Putting Link 4s on the field is kind of hard for decks that aren't incredibly broken. I understand that Rockets have things, but you need cards that dump stuff to the graveyard for this. Now, Gazelle was just overall a great support card. Good generic spell and trap card support in the form of the archetype. Let me correct myself there. Something like Salamangreat Roar really fucking pushed this archetype, because they got access to recur it back. This deck created a mini toolbox for itself. That's what made this deck good. You gave it enough pieces and recurability that being able to get to an Icarus attack and this is good. This is the level of support that we need to see to make this archetype good. Literally, once again, reiterating the point of a spell and trap effect that can trigger your monster effects, turn them into Yang Zings essentially, would be great. Alternate art, of course, Heat Leo would be great. Now, also on the terms of giving them good support, give Rockets a Link 1. That special summons another Rocket from the deck. I would be happy with my life. Special summon a literal Rocket to a zone that it points to would be every Rocket player's dream. It would fix so many of the issues that I think that the deck has, and give it floating as well, and we might be getting somewhere. Now, of course, good level support like Mirage Stalio was actually just insane, getting the ability to kind of just special summon more. I could see possibly an Xyz for Rockets on the same level, sure. That would be absolutely cute. Now, moving on along here, 4-Mud Skipper was just kind of whatever. Fencing Fire Ferret was whatever. Everything else beyond that point was just kind of generic support. So, Magic Planter was whatever. Rage was a very good card. Salamangreat Sanctuary, which we kind of already had. But if you're able to make a structure deck that literally kind of just brings everything together for this arc, then I would be extremely happy to see Rockets, see the dragon archetypes breamed together, and we could possibly see something great from this and Borrelsword reprint. So guys, please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and well guys,
the ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.